Welcome to the pilot episode of Life and Coffee. Today, you're going to be listening to my own story of unpursued dreams and unwanted choices. How's life living with unpursued dreams and having to fulfill the choices others made for you? Thoughts on living with unpursued dreams and unwanted choices. The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. Proverbs 16:9. I have dreams I never get to pursue, and unwanted choices I had to follow through. For quite a while, I wrestled with my desires and the plans set by the people around me. Every time my plans fall and the plans of others for my life succeed, I told myself that I had no choice. By living the life others planned for me, I thought I was losing myself. Getting a degree I swore I never had a pinch of interest in was a painful process I needed to endure for years. The amount of insecurity and uncertainty was so excruciating, I choked. After graduating, the carpet was set for me. I entered a job I literally feared. Unprepared, untrained, I became a teacher. I became those two personalities I never wanted, an IT graduate and a teacher. After immersing myself into the responsibilities of my unwanted professions, I came to like what I do, day by day. I could not contain the excitement of going to work and interacting with my students, until years had passed and I am still what I have become. With a great difference, of course. A change of heart. I am embracing who I am now and who I am becoming. This coronavirus pandemic has its way of affecting people's lives uniquely. The sudden shift and forced upgrade in technology have taken a toll on me. This time, I took a spontaneous decision to take an 18-unit teacher certificate program so I can take the board exam and become a licensed professional teacher. A sudden shift and a sudden upgrade indeed. Meltdowns and emotional instability started to creep in as I juggled between my work and studies. At the last month, I had thoughts about dropping my course as I could not handle all the things I needed to do both at work and in school. But I decided to trust that the Lord will get me through. And indeed, I survived. It was a grace-filled battle. A month had passed after I graduated from all the schoolworks. I thought I could peacefully leave this time. What a relief. But then, a familiar shift of the wind started to flow towards me. Seems like a low-pressure area forming, and would later on become what I call spontaneous typhoon. Days ago, I went to the school where I finished that 18-unit program to ask for an important envelope. Just a little background of the story. The registrar's office gave me an envelope that contained an important document that I still need to process. It was a sunny day, and it was the hottest. I put the envelope in my bag, and just as I was about to go home, it rained hard. The envelope got wet. Thank God the document was paired. It took me 3 weeks to go back to the registrar's office and ask for the same envelope. The envelope should contain the name of the school and the office it came from, so it should not be just any other envelope. The goal was just to get the envelope. Of course, having sidetracks are fun, as my classmate, who works at the guidance office, offered to tour me to the dean's office. I was excited, since it is the first time I would meet my professor, who I just saw virtually. It was unplanned. Chit-chats here and there. Just as I was about to leave the office, our dean dragged me to the graduate school office and enticed me to enroll in a master's degree. Another fear unlocked. I don't know why I could not refuse. And so, after leaving the school, I found myself like a lifeless soul, looking up to the sky, holding a yellow piece of paper, my official class schedule. I enrolled myself in a master's degree. What a spontaneous 30-minute enrollment journey! Am I dreaming? I hope I am. But reality started to kick in as I read the course written in the paper. Master of Arts in Education, major in Instructional Technology. How in the world did it happen in just 6 months? Spontaneous typhoons indeed. I had finished my first Saturday classes, and I'm still like a lifeless soul wondering. I wonder if I made the right decision. Now insecurity started to creep in, like how I felt back in college, with the thoughts, will I be able to handle this? Do I know where I am going? Do I have the skills to get through the courses? Do I have a luxury of time? Will I be able to graduate? So I prayed that the Lord will enlighten me with His wisdom and asked for an affirmation of my decision. The Lord answered me in a very awkward place, the toilet. Yep, who said prayers are just heard and answered in a sacred place? Toilets are sacred places too. Just kidding. I used my phone to search for the roles of an instructional technologist because I am unsure, and it was my first time hearing this specialization. Then I came across a certain research paper tackling about the roles of an instructional technologist. I looked back and realized that as early as 8 years ago, I have actually been doing, if not all, most of the roles the research paper talked about. It was also affirmed when the pandemic started, and I had to conduct the training for the teachers, students, and parents for the distance learning. Later did I know that the Lord has been establishing my steps, where I go to school, what course should I take, where I should work, and what skills should I have, what should I teach, and what should I become. All those plans I made for myself were unsuccessful. All those desires I forcibly put off the flame. All those dreams I never get to pursue. But those were not put to waste. Instead, they laid the groundwork for who I am becoming, as God intended. The things I feared the most were actually the ones to gravitate towards me. Reading from the quote I have read years ago, "You are not where you are today by accident." It was God's way of answering my prayer and affirming my decision. His wisdom is unfathomable. Let me rephrase what I said earlier. It was not that I lived my life because I had no choice. All this time, it was actually God's choice. His plans, His ways, not mine. Remember this, the heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. Proverbs 16:9. What about you? Whose choice are you living? This is the Life and Coffee podcast, where grace-filled stories are brewed.